is Marketing, written by Seth Godin. Chapter 3, Marketing changes people through stories, connections, and experience. Case study: Vision Spring, selling glasses to people who need them. Each person has a story in his or her head, a narrative used to navigate the world. The extraordinary thing is that every person's narrative is different. A few years ago, I went with a small team to a village in India, trying to understand the challenges that Vision Spring faces in their work. Vision Spring is a social enterprise that works to get reading glasses to the billion people around the world who need them but don't have them. When the typical person only lived to 30 or 40 years of age, it didn't matter that most people will need reading glasses beginning at age 50. But as lifespans have increased, more and more people find themselves otherwise healthy and active but unable to work because they can't read or do close-up work. If you were a weaver or a jeweler or a nurse, working without glasses can be impossible. Vision Spring's strategy is to produce attractive glasses in bulk at a very low cost, perhaps $2 a pair, and then working with local traveling salespeople. They bring the glasses to villages around the world where they sell them for $3 or so a pair. The $1 difference between the manufacturing cost and the price is just enough to pay for shipping, for local talent, and for the organization to keep growing. When we set up our table in the village, many people came to see what was going on. It was the middle of a very hot day and there wasn't much else to do. The men were wearing traditional Indian work shirts, embroidered each with a pocket on the front. I could see through the sheer fabric that just about everyone had rupees in their pockets. So now I knew three things. One, based on their age, many of these folks needed glasses. That's simply biology. Number two, many of them weren't wearing or carrying glasses, so they probably didn't want a pair. Number three, and most of the people milling around had some money in their pocket. While the glasses might be expensive for someone who only made $3 a day, each person had access to cash. One by one, as the villagers came up to our table, we handed each of them a laminated sheet with an eye test on it. The test was set up so that it can even work for people who didn't know how to read, regardless of which languages they spoke. Then, the villager with the laminated sheet was offered a pair of sample glasses and took the test again. Right there, instantly, he or she could see perfectly. That's how glasses work. It wasn't new technology for this man and woman, or an untrusted one. After that, the sample glasses were removed and set aside, and the customer was given a mirror and offered a choice of 10 different styles. It was brand new, wrapped in little plastic sleeves. About 30 of the people who had come to the table and needed glass actually bought a pair. A third, that's my stuff, me. I was stunned that 65% of the people who needed glasses, who knew they needed glasses and had money to buy glasses, would just walk away. Putting myself in the shoes, I couldn't imagine making this choice. The supply of glasses was going to disappear in an hour. The price was amazing. The trusted technology worked. What were we doing wrong? I sat in the sun for an hour, thinking hard about this problem. I felt like all my work as a marketeer had led me to this moment. So I changed just one thing about the process, one thing that doubled the percentage of glasses sold. Here, what I did, I took all the glasses off the table. For the rest of the people in line, after they put on the sample glasses, we said, "Here are your new glasses. If they work and you like them, please pay up $3. If you don't want them, please give them back." That's it. We changed the story from here's an opportunity to shop, to look good, to regain your sight, to enjoy the process, to feel ownership from beginning to end, to, do you want us to take away what you have, or do you want to pay to keep the glasses that are already working for you? Desire for gain versus avoidance of loss. If you've been living in abject poverty, it's hard to imagine the pleasure that more fortunate people taking in shopping. To feel the thrill of buying something never bought before. To go shopping is to take a risk. To risk time and money looking for a new thing, a thing that might be great. And we are able to take that risk because being wrong isn't fatal. Being wrong doesn't cause dinner or a medical checkup. And if we are wrong, not only will we live another day, but we will get right back to shopping tomorrow. On the other hand, with the realization that maybe others didn't think about shipping the way I did, or the way Western opticians did, I saw things differently. Maybe the people we were trying to serve saw shopping for something new as a threat, not as a fun activity. Most teenagers, as the typical suburban mall, would bristle at the idea that they didn't get to try on all the glasses, that they didn't get a choice in the matter. Most of us wouldn't want a pair of used glasses, we'd want that fancy new ones. Even if used simply meant tried at once before, but it's not helpful to imagine that everyone knows what you know, wants what you want, believes what you believe. My narrative about how to buy glasses isn't better or worse than the one the next villager in line had. My narrative is simply my narrative, and if it's not working, it's arrogant to insist on it. The way we make things better is by caring enough about those we serve to imagine the story that they need to hear. We need to be generous enough to share that story so they can take action that they will be proud of. Consider the South. Most people reading this book don't market cars, but most of us have bought one. The question to ponder is, why did you buy the one you bought? Why do people who will never drive off road buy a $90,000 Toyota Land Cruiser? Why pay extra for the ludicrous mode on a Tesla if you never expect or need it to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds? Why put a $3,000 stereo in your car if you only listen to a $30 clock radio at home? Even more puzzling, the most popular color for cars varies by the kind of car being purchased. If we are unwilling to make utility the primary driver of our decisions when buying a $50,000 vehicle, what chance does a bottle of perfume or a strip of gum have? Marketing isn't a race to add more features for lost money. Marketing is our quest to make change on behalf of those we serve, and we do it by understanding that irrational forces that drive each of us. That brief about the quarter-inch drill bit. Harvard marketing professor Theodore Levitt famously said, "People don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill bit; they want a quarter-inch hole." The lesson is that the drill bit is merely a feature, a means to an end, but what people really want is the hole it makes. But that doesn't go nearly far enough. No one wants a hole. What people want is the shelf that they will go on the wall once they drill the hole. Actually, what they want is how they will feel once they see how uncluttered everything is. When they put their stuff on the shelf that went on the wall, now there's a quarter-inch hole. But wait, they also want the satisfaction of knowing they did it themselves. Or perhaps the increase in status they will get when their spouse admires the work, or the peace of mind that comes from knowing that the bedroom isn't a mess and that it feels safe and calm. People don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill bit. They want to feel safe and respected. Bingo. People don't want what you make. They want what it will do for them. They want the way it will make them feel. And there aren't that many feelings to choose from. In essence, most marketeers deliver the same feelings. We just do it in a different ways with different services, products, and stories, and we do it for different people in different moments. If you can bring someone belonging, connection, peace of mind, status, or one of the other most desired emotions, you have done something worthwhile. The thing you sell is simply a road to achieve those emotions. And we let everyone down when we focus on the tactics, not the outcomes. Who's it for and what's it for are the two questions that guide all of our decisions. Stories, connections, and experiences. The good news is that we don't need to rely on the shiniest, latest digital media shortcut. We have even more powerful, nuanced, and timeless tool at our disposal. We tell stories that resonate and hold up over time, stories that are true because we made them true with our actions and our products and our services. We make connections. Humans are lonely and they want to be seen and known. People want to be part of something. It's safer that way and often more fun. We create experiences using a product, engaging with a service, making a donation, going to a rally, calling customer service. Each of these actions is part of the story. It builds a little bit of our connection. As marketeers, we can offer these experiences with intent, doing them on purpose. The entire organization works for and with the marketeer because marketing is all of it. What we make, how we make it, who we make it for. It is the effects and the side effects, the pricing and the profit all at once. Market driven. Who is driving the bus? Every organization, every project is influenced by a primary driving force. Some restaurants are chef driven. Silicon Valley is often tech driven. Investment firms in New York are money driven, focused on the share price or the latest financial manipulation. The driver, whichever one you choose, is the voice that gets heard the clearest. And the person with the voice is the one who gets to sit at the head of the table. Often, organizations are marketing driven. They are slick, focused on the offer, the surface shine, the ability to squeeze out one more dollar. I'm not really interested in helping you become marketing driven because it's a dead end. The alternative is to be market driven, to hear the market, to listen to it, and even more important, to influence it, to bend it to make it better. When you are marketing driven, you are focused on the latest Facebook data hacks, the design of your new logo, and your Canadian pricing model. On the other hand, when you are market driven, you think a lot about the hopes and dreams of your customers and their friends. You listen to their frustrations and invest in changing the culture. Being market driven lasts. The myth, the myth of rational choice. Microeconomics is based on a demonstrably false assertion. The rational agent is assumed to take account of available information, probabilities of events, and potential cost and benefit in determining preferences, and to act consistently in choosing the self-determined best choice of action, says Wikipedia. Of course not. Perhaps if we average up a large enough group of people, it's possible that in some ways, on average, we might see glimmers of this behavior, but it's not something I'd want you to bet on. In fact, the bet you would be better off making is, when in doubt, assume that people will act according to their current irrational urges, ignoring information that runs counter to their beliefs, trading long-term for short-term benefits, and most of all, being influenced by the culture they identify with. You can make two mistakes here. Number one, assume that the people you are seeking to serve are well informed, rational, independent, long-term choice makers. Number two, assume that everyone is like you, knows what you know, wants what you want. I'm not rational, and neither are you. The end.